Hey team, Richard Tubb here. Now, with cybersecurity becoming such a challenge for IT solution providers and managed service providers, MSPs, I really want to shine a light on some of the tools and the platforms and the software that can help you keep your MSP clients safe. One of these tools that I've come across recently is Guardz. Now, Guardz is a cybersecurity platform built specifically for MSPs. And I'm joined today by Dor Eisner, who is the co-founder and CEO of Guardz. Dor, welcome.
Hello, Richard. How are you? Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. I can see in the background there, we've got, is that downtown Tel Aviv, or are you in the center of Tel Aviv there?
It's a center of Tel Aviv, yes, correct.
Yeah, it looks very busy there. So thank you for taking time out of your day to join us here.
Usually it's more busy, in the mornings or in the afternoon. So now it's more quiet, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm at home today in the studio in Newcastle upon Tyne. We want to get a feel for what Guardz is, what it does, how it helps MSPs today. So, Dor, let me ask you first of all, how would you describe what Guardz does?
A great question. So we are actually bringing the cybersecurity world into the MSP community in a consolidated, all-in-one approach. And the way that we are doing it, first, we are providing all the security controls into one backbone. But the secret sauce behind Guardz is that we are helping MSPs to automate the detection and response for the specific threats targeting small businesses, like the phishing, the ransomware, the data loss, the account compromise. So we are focusing on few very advanced use cases that are targeting small businesses, but empowering the MSP with a single pane of glass and one platform to automate the detection and response, because it's a multi-layer approach. It's not like one protection. It's like all the security controls working together, speaking with each other. So we are connecting the dots, and it's all about the MSP community. This platform, Guardz, is built for MSPs, designed by MSPs in the field, and that's the market that we are going after, and that's the way for us, to build a safer digital world for small businesses.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued by this because obviously the cybersecurity market, so many tools out there at the moment, and for managed service providers as well, but it tends to be a little bit fragmented. There's a tool here and there's a tool there. So I'm hearing from lots of MSPs actually that they're getting a bit of vendor fatigue, having to manage lots of different vendors. So the Guardz platform does intrigue me. But before we jump into the platform itself, where did the idea for Guardz come from? Because I know this is not your first entry into the cybersecurity field, is it?
Yeah, that's true. So I started my journey in the cybersecurity space about 20 years ago. I was a commander in the Israeli intelligence force, a special unit, and we did like a lot of cybersecurity back in the days. It wasn't mainstream like 20 years ago, but as I moved to the industry and worked for governments and service providers, I learned a lot about how to provide cybersecurity to the enterprise world in the first decade of my experience. And in the last decade, I've built 3 companies. The last company was acquired by Rapid7 about 3 years ago, and it was about threat intelligence company. So we sold to Rapid7 a cyber threat intelligence company. And what we did in the previous venture is that we monitored the dark web, all the different forums, all the different black markets. We scrape the data, aggregate the data into our backbone, and correlate the data with the digital footprint of the businesses that we serviced. And what we learned in this journey of the threat intelligence is that the black markets and the cyber crimes all over the dark web started to democratize their tools. And we started to think, what is going to be this, market shift or market trend in the bad guys space, and how it's going to affect, the economy, the industry, the market in general. And what we see, and I think like the MSP community, you see it, like day to day, that cyber threats started to go, the threat actors started to go after small businesses.
Oh yeah.
And it's going to be at scale in the next few years to come, in the next decade to come, because it's very easy to get a tool, attack as a service tool in the dark web, and start to spray and pray and send it all over across, small businesses. And those tools that are being sold in the dark web in different forums. By the way, when we started to monitor the dark web, there were very few, like dozens of tools. Now you can find thousands of tools, and this market shift. That's what that's what the inception of Guardz. We decided to go after the small business market, and when we started to talk with hundreds of small businesses, we realized that the MSP is the right way to help or to empower, because the small business himself, they think about cybersecurity, they maybe dream about the risk, but they don't know what to do. And when they go to the MSP, usually they get like a long answer to a short question.
Yes.
And that's not the way to sell cybersecurity, and that's not the way to provide or to deliver cybersecurity services. So that's why we started Guardz, and we started the company about 2 years ago. It's a venture-backed company. We raised the seed funding, and 2 months ago we raised the A funding, and we are growing very fast, and we are helping hundreds of MSPs all over the world.
Well, it's a fantastic story. So thank you for sharing that with us. I know that, in this marketplace, there's so many different tools, as we talked about. So we really like to shine a light on the positive disruptors, the newcomers to the market who are doing things differently. And I think a lot of people are going to become aware of Guardz over the next few months. Before we jump into the demo itself, though, what does the Guardz team look like? We mentioned you're in Tel Aviv at the moment, in beautiful Tel Aviv. Like, how many staff are at Guardz? Where are they located in the world?
Yeah, we have 35 people in the team right now. So we started 2 years ago, 35 full-time employees. The product and engineering team located in Tel Aviv, just because it's the best talent of cybersecurity you can find in the world.
Yeah.
So we are developing the product here in Tel Aviv, and we have a small office in Fort Lauderdale in Florida, Southeast Florida, with support, customer success. Then we have a sales team in San Francisco and in New York. So we are East, West Coast, US in terms of sales support, customer success, and product engineering in Tel Aviv. And I'm splitting my time between the Florida office and the Israeli office.
Wow. Yeah, you must be a busy man at the moment then. So, well, let's get you to share your screen if we can, so we can take a closer look at the actual product itself. Because I want to dive in, because you've mentioned a few things, and that, there's a lot of different things that we can look at here. But the first thing that I want to mention is you mentioned phishing protection. This all-in-one platform. Phishing protection, lots of MSPs knowing this. I think the most common vector that small businesses sort of get attacked on at the moment tends to be email, although that's changing. Tell us about the phishing protection.
I'll tell you all about phishing protection, but by the way, it's starting to change.
Definitely.
It's leaning more around account compromise these days.
Yeah.
Social engineering, a lot of things that are in the mix. But maybe before I dive into phishing protection, maybe just to give you a quick, overview of the platform itself, and
Please.
and then we go to the specific threats and how we are tackling those threats.
Yeah.
So this is what you see here. It's an MSP platform. So as I mentioned before, Guardz, built for MSPs, everything that we are doing, it's MSP in mind. So you can see that the platform is multi-tenant by design. So you can see all of your tenants in this platform. In this case, I have 3 customers, but I can onboard hundreds of customers into the same platform. To onboard a new client, it's just a click of a button, because we are riding on top of the Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace integration. So you just click on the Microsoft 365, and we are deploying, a tiny application in the background to collect all of the users' data, mailboxes, starting to do asset discovery on the internet assets, cloud drive, browsers, so on and so forth. And everything that you see in the platform is aggregated automatically in a multi-tenant view or in a single-tenant view. In this case, I have 3 customers. I can see the criticality of the risk for each business. I can see that the issues by severity, and then I have the insight section. And the insight section is actually our AI-driven detection and response of Guardz to connect the dots, to say, hey, for example, you have leaked credentials for this account, but you also have missing multi-factor authentication. You need to take care of these threats. By clicking on this, it will take you to the specific single tenant issues with all the correlation of the different detections coming from different security controls. So I will touch on this in a moment, but just to give you the sense of the security controls and the coverage. So we have all those security controls in the backbone, everything integrated and everything correlated into one place. You can see here on this radar the coverage of each client and also the detections, like the purple points are the detections of the issues we are monitoring on real time. If we go and we open, the backbone to show you the security controls, so you can see that we have, let's take accounts, for example, you can see that we have that we are monitoring the cloud directory posture, like the Microsoft 365 or the Google Workspace for inactive users, multi-factor authentication that is missing, mailbox rules forwarding, geolocation detection, a lot of things that we can just take from the APIs of the Microsoft or the Google and provide security controls on top of them. So you can say, hey, for example, these are the approved location. If someone is connecting from Nigeria to this account, let me know about it. And the platform will automatically detect it and provide the remediation plan for each of the issues. You can say, hey, I have X amount of active users, inactive users, this user is suspended, whatever you can say. Then we are monitoring the external footprint of the business. So we are automatically collecting all of the internet assets. So reverse DNS techniques and other techniques of reconnaissance and external exposure monitoring to analyze, okay, these are the internet assets of the business, and I have issue with this subdomain, and I have issue with these subdomains, like SSL is missing, SPF is missing, DMARC is missing, open port, vulnerability systems, lots of things that the platform is monitoring for you at the MSP so you can sleep good at night. Then we are monitoring the dark web. So credential leakage, data leakage, confidential data, everything that related to the digital assets that we discovered in the external footprint scan. Then we have a cloud data protection where we are integrating automatically with the Google Drive, the Dropbox, the OneDrive, the SharePoint to check for any kind of external exposure of folder, potential data acceleration, and stuff like that. You can add things to the allow list. You can remove things from the allow list. Everything is super simple to configure and to deploy and to run over time. Then we have the email protection that is running on top of the Google or the Microsoft 365. You can add like a caution banner or a quarantine that is detected by Guardz. You can play with the thresholds, with the retention period, and we are also providing a portal for the end small business, for the end user to see the emails in a preview mode for the quarantine, obviously to see the detections. Use the MSP, you can play with the manage, with the allow list, with the block list, everything from the Guardz platform. Then we have an agent, the Guardz agent that is deployed on the Mac machines or the Windows machines, like the PCs of the organizations. And what we are doing in the endpoint security, we are actually checking the posture first of the device and also providing like the detection response on top of the Microsoft Defender freemium edition. So you don't need to pay for Microsoft. You are getting it as part of the Guardz service with all the management, the controls, the signatures, the processes, the auto runs, the scripts. Everything can be on in monitoring mode or in enforce mode. So if you just run with the Defender, Guardz can provide you the enforce mode. If you have any kind of other antivirus, off the shelf, so Guardz will run on the monitor mode and will collect all the exposure and the posture of the device into our security control. Then we have a secure web browser that is running on top of the browser to detect like phishing sites, malicious sites, malicious extensions. We have security awareness training that is baked into the platform, like videos and campaigns and everything that you need to push for the small business employees to make them aware and to improve their security posture. And we also have a very robust phishing simulation where you can say, hey, I have a client from accounting industry and I want to run a compliance phishing simulation with a tone of voice so formal. And once you click generate, the power of AI will create on the fly a phishing simulation campaign that is relevant for this user, for this accounting, like tailored. Once they click the link, they will get the bite. The risk of the user, by the way, you can push the security phishing simulation and the controls, everything you can schedule to specific users to do group selections. Everything is super simple. But the beauty is that the users themselves, they need to go, you can see them, like the risk level based on all the security controls, you know,
That's
like,
very cool. Yeah.
So you can see, hey, I have one issue with awareness, one issue with secure browser, one issue with endpoint protection, 2 issues with endpoint protection. This user is at high risk because he's an admin, you know, on the Google, and everything that we are doing in the backend to calculate the risk of the user. So coming back to the risk and the overall risk of the user is also the correlation with the risk of the business. And the risk of the business is actually the security score of the business that you can see on a single tenant. This demo account is in a bad shape. The security score is about 18, should be about 18. And this is the insurance threshold. So I didn't mention in the beginning, but in the US, we are also licensed as broker, as an insurance broker. And we streamline insurance for secured clients through the MSP community if they cross the threshold of the security posture of the business. So
I think this is going to become more and more common as well, isn't it? I know I've seen big companies like Cisco and others where they are getting together with insurance companies to provide these sort of packages. So it's interesting that you've done that. So at the moment, that's just US based. Are you looking at sort of globally for, I'm in the UK, Europe, places like that?
Yeah, so right now it's USA only. We are planning by the end of 2024 to come up with a coverage for the UK market and the Australian market.
Got it. That's really, really good to see. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, and you can also see that if the client is qualified, unqualified for the risk coverage. So that's about it. So after giving you the quick overview of the platform, coming back to your question about the phishing. Yeah. So phishing, it's one of the most common threats on small businesses. But phishing, it's not about protecting with a point solution, just the email scanner. It's about the multi-layer approach that we have in the platform. First, you need to understand what is the external exposure. You need to understand what is the digital footprint. You need to understand what is the risk of the users from credential leakage, confidential data, social engineering, and stuff like that. Then you need to scan all the inbound emails. Then you need to put the emails on quarantine if they are malicious, suspicious, or they have any kind of malware or virus in the attachment. So then you have to make sure that the users are aware. If everything is fed, like that they have the awareness. So you need to train them with phishing simulations, campaigns over time. So we are tackling the phishing, a threat in a multi-layer approach in one single platform and making sure that the security risk of the user is going down by implementing all the security controls from the Guardz platform.
Yeah. And this is one of the reasons, Dora, I was so excited to speak to you and have a look at this today, because as I said right at the top of our conversation, the cybersecurity market for managed services tools has just exploded. And you've just hit the nail on the head. There is so many point solutions everywhere. And MSPs, are getting a little bit of vendor fatigue, looking at all the different tools and trying to get them to work together. So what you've got here is essentially a platform that does it, to use the word holistically. It looks at everything there, not just one individual case here, there, and everywhere. So I'm fascinated. I've got so many questions because this is fairly mind-blowing, Dor, to look at what you do in the platform. Can you take me back to the screen where you list all of the different types of protections that you've got there?
Sure. So
a few different questions there. So obviously, this is aimed at the cloud world. So we've got Google Workspace, we've got M365, Microsoft 365 and that. But when you're looking at the external footprint scan, we do have And what I'm trying to do here, Dora, is put myself in the position of the MSPs who are watching this video. And some MSPs have still got clients who are on site with servers and things of that nature. What can you do to help keep those clients safe? Is that something that you cover at the moment?
We are not going on the on-prem too much deep because we believe, that the perimeter changed and working from home employees, the office is not really, a secure place anymore. And, and threat actors are not about, going into a specific server. They are more about, phishing, ransomware, account takeover, compromise, those stuff. And everyone is shifting to the cloud. So we are cloud native security platform for MSPs, definitely. But we are also looking on the devices themselves by providing the agent and the browser extension, scanning the emails, obviously, from the cloud. So if you are running a local exchange and like local servers and local storage, I recommend you just move away to the cloud.
That's one way to do it. And joking aside, the vast majority of the people who are going to be watching this are cloud native now. They're all in the cloud and things, but there are some MSPs out there that don't. So I wanted to ask that question up front. Dark web monitoring. I'm really interested by this. So I have seen a lot of MSPs use dark web monitoring as a really good way to get a foot in the door to actually have conversations with new clients by saying, hey, did you realize that your details are compromised? So the first question I'd ask about your dark web monitoring facility, is that part of the overall license or is it an additional cost?
Everything in the platform, it's one subscription, one cost. It's not a modular approach, it's one platform. And the reason that it's one platform and one cost, because otherwise we are not able to automate the detection response and to see the threats in a multi-layer approach. So we bundle in everything into a unified platform. I don't like the word holistically, so let's talk about a unified approach.
I like it.
To tackle the threats of today and tomorrow. And coming back to your question, so I want to show you something else that we developed in the platform. You touched about the credential leakage and the way MSPs leverage this kind of data to open the door with new clients. So let's show you the Grow tab that we have in the platform. In the Grow tab, it's something that obviously we are MSP first, so you can put your company profile here as an MSP, to set up the account, to upload your logo, and then everything will come with your brand, your logo, your colors.
So it's all white labeled,
It's a kind of white label branded solution for you as the MSP, because your brand and your name as the MSP is more important in front of the client than the Guardz name.
Agreed.
And that's the way to go for us. We are empowering your brand and your name and your security services. We are just the engine, in the backend for you. And we have few cool reports like the prospecting report and the ROI report. Like, for example, the prospecting report, if you go to a new meeting tomorrow and you want to meet with company, let's say, call abc.com, you just click submit, and after a few hours, usually less than 24 hours, you will get a very nice report. Let me show you, like, for example, you will get your logo here.
Yes.
You will get, this is the Cybersecurity Risk Report for 2024, generated for blah, blah, blah. This is the, this is the company. These are the internet assets. This is your security posture. This is the industry benchmark. These are all the findings, dark web findings, like external risk findings. This is the number of employees, the number of issues, the possible financial loss. You can generate the report in British pounds, in US dollars, in Australian, whatever. So you can choose once you put the configuration of the onboarding, you choose the location, the data center, where you are sitting, and this will automatically be like, you can see the glossary of the asset findings, and like very nice, like here are the credential leakage, from the dark web, and this is the external exposure, and like the glossary, the IP addresses. So
this is very impressive because it's going to give a significant competitive advantage to, if two or three MSPs turn up to speak to the same client, they can talk in broad terms about cybersecurity, but you're giving them specifics to go there and say, hey, do you know this, that, and the other is not good. And the other thing, Dor, that I wanted to jump in and say, I love the idea of that benchmark against industry average and what, like an insurance compliance and all of those things, those type of scores. It just makes it so much easier, doesn't it, for MSPs to have a conversation with the client. And instead of speaking in broad terms, they can actually put a measurement and say, here's where you are, here's where you want to be. So absolutely love that feature.
Exactly. And we're also helping the MSPs with, resources that are white label, like surveys and, like legal, healthcare, education, like giving you like sales deck, like that you can use, all kind of things that are just, empowering your business and helping you to grow. That's why we call it the Growth Hub. And that's about that. And also the subscription of your clients and your users, you can manage from here. So we have a starter package and we have a pro package. So you can, it's a very simple. The starter package is just, no commitment, pay as you go, pay per seat per month. It's all monthly payment, so you can, it's MRR based. We know that the MSP business, it's MRR, and obviously our business model is aligned with the MRR model. And once you want to move to the pro package, you just get a volume discount. You commit for minimum 100 users, and you can take it from there. It's not a lot, to start with, but we want to, to give you some tools that are leveraging and helping you to grow.
And I see the link in there for trials as well. So one of the questions I was going to ask much later on was, okay, do you offer like a free trial for MSPs? Do you offer free trials for clients? What does that look like?
Yeah, we offer a free trial for the MSPs and the clients themselves. So every time you start a new MSP account, you get like a 2 weeks of free trial. So you can test the platform, you can see everything in action for free, no commitment. It's also self-serve, so you can just go to the Guardz website, guardz.com, Guardz with a Z, and you can start your free trial without talking with our, without talking with no one, actually. And every time you onboard a new client, like a new tenant to your MSP platform, this tenant also getting like 2 weeks of trial. So you can just give the account, the look and feel, and then you can generate an ROI report. So you can go to a meeting, to a new prospect with the prospecting report. Then you show him all the threats. By the way, we have, for the prospecting report, we have a very detailed report in Excel sheet that is showing you all the different threats and the remediation plan. What do you need to do to tackle each of the threats that we discovered? So this is not a customer facing like stuff. It's more like for you, the MSP, so you can download it to use it after the meeting. And then you onboard the client and you can generate an ROI report to show the client after 2 weeks, what is the value. So
that's awesome. Yeah. Because there's an interesting experience happens to MSPs, especially with cybersecurity, when they've been doing this for a little while and the clients have been paying for it. The client forgets all of the pain that they had before, Dor, and I know you probably recognize this. And then the client says, what is it we're paying you for? Because they don't remember any of the bad things that used to happen to them. So that return on investment report is very important.
For sure. It's about showing the value you bring to the table, to bring to the game and putting it on the table.
You've showed us a lot there, and thank you for running through, because as we say, this is a unified approach. It's not not holistic, as you say, unified. You can't do one thing without the other, really. So that's the whole point of the Guardz platform. It brings everything together under one roof. But talk me through, we started the conversation talking about the phishing protection and things of that nature, but you've not just got that. So you've got ransomware protection built into as well. I also want to talk about data loss. So could we have a look at some of maybe the other parts of the product to get a bit deeper into the weeds and see what it looks like there?
So like the ransomware protection, it's pretty much, the same concept of the phishing in terms of the multi-layer. For the ransomware, we have the device agent. We are monitoring, open ports and stuff that someone can access the account. We are detecting on the devices if there is any kind of auto runs, auto scripts, any kind of malware coming from the defender detections themselves. And then we are able to isolate the device automatically or in a click of a button. So you set the rules. You can say, hey, just give me the alerts in real time and I will take action, or we can create a full playbook. Let me just show you the remediation plan. So let's say let's go to the issues. Let's say, I don't know, let's see like the emails. This is like a quarantine email with a virus. Let's say, hey, these are the details. This is the score. Risk score was 100. And this is the mailbox. You can see the email in the preview mode, and then you can take the remediation. So you can say, hey, I want to add the domain to the allow list, delete the email, so everything is ready for you, like all the playbooks, and those playbooks are for everything in that related, like exposed vulnerable Microsoft system. You have 2 exposed operation system on services on those assets, like your LDAP is exposed, okay? So we'll show you the details, we'll show you the port, and we'll provide you the remediation plan. What do you need to do?
One of the things, Dora, forgive me for jumping in with this, my brain bounces around as a former MSP myself. I've got so many different questions. There's going to be some MSPs watching this who perhaps want to deploy this internally first before they go externally. So how does that work? Do you enable your partners to deploy internally and run all these checks on themselves before they go out to clients?
For sure, that's part of the evaluation, part of the trial experience. You onboard yourself, you get a trial, you get an MSP account for 2 weeks, then you onboard your own tenant, your own M365 or whatever you are using, and you get all the issues, all the security controls deployed into your environment first, and that's what we recommend. Part of the trial experience, onboard yourself, get yourself deployed on the platform, get your assets there, and then onboard 1 or 2 clients just for the 2 weeks trial, just to get the sense of the platform.
Yeah. And going forward, is that then becomes a chargeable license internally, or do you give it away for, provided the MSPs become a partner and is deploying Guardz out to clients, do you charge the MSP for looking after their own tenancy, or is that given away for free?
We are providing some NFR license. We are still, debating internally if to get like a package for MSPs free from themselves. Probably that's the way for us to go, going forward, but it's not exist today. But if you get like few dozens of clients, we are providing you some NFR license, to monitor your own assets for free.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable, isn't it? So I'm a big fan in, there's the phrase, you've got to eat your own dog food or drink your own champagne, as they say in France. So doing that. And I think so many MSPs that I come across do, I don't know about your experiences, they look after their clients really well, but when it comes to looking after their own tenancy, not so much. So I think that's really important there. But we can't talk about cybersecurity without acknowledging data loss. So you mentioned, I think, that you've got data loss prevention tools in the Guardz platform. What does that look like?
It's a lightweight DLP. It's not like the full, enterprise DLP, because if you want to get the full enterprise DLP, then you need to work for it 24/7.
Yeah.
So it's really not relevant in most cases for the majority of the small businesses. So we took a different approach on DLP, and we are monitoring the OneDrive, the SharePoint, the Google Drive, the Dropbox, around any kind of external permission, shared permission, a mass download of files, any kind that is abnormal in terms of your day-to-day operation on your cloud storage. So that's trigger different rules in our automated detection and response that, hey, this user, downloaded yesterday 20 different files from this folder. It's abnormal detection, or this folder is exposed publicly just for you to know that your clients maybe they wanted to share this folder, but they forgot about it, and then someone else from the team just added more, files, secrets and classified information, PII. into this folder, and you need to be aware that this folder is now shared publicly. And these kind of things, that's the first, thing that the threat actor will search for and will look for, the external exposure, your public data that is exposed, your users, your social engineering data that we can target. So that's part of our DLP approach. Obviously, it's not complete DLP, and we are not aiming for a complete solution, because there is no complete cybersecurity, especially not for small businesses. So that's not the intention. The intention is to provide the right security controls that protects what matters, and obviously double down on those security controls as we move forward. So,
and I guess so the first thing is, I think the majority of MSPs that I speak to, don't have any data loss prevention tools in place whatsoever. So this is going to be like a quantum leap for a lot of MSPs. A specific issue that I've come across, though, or thought about, is over time, clients can share files externally, share folders externally, and then, as you've said, sort of forget about them, and over time it sort of spirals. I've never come across a really great tool that enables an MSP to see all of the files and folders that have been shared within their tenancy on M365 or Google Workspace. So is that something built into Guardz?
Yes, absolutely.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah. Not just that, also Dropbox and SharePoint.
That in and of itself can be a really powerful feature, just to monitor it on an ongoing basis. Because I looked at our own tenancy. We use we use Google Workspace here, and I was shocked, when I looked. I was like, wow, there's a file that was shared with a contractor from 4 years ago, and I'm pretty sure we got rid of the share, but clearly not. So that's a really powerful tool in itself.
I encourage you, Richard, to onboard yourself to the Guardz platform after this conversation, and to see how things are going in your workspace tenant.
Deal. I will do that. We will speak off camera about that, But I want to get back to something earlier on. We talked about the different offices around the world where the technical staff are, Florida and support and things. But what does the technical support look like? So if an MSP encounters, cybersecurity is difficult. Cybersecurity can be challenging. If an MSP encounters a problem that they really don't know the answer to themselves, how quickly can an MSP expect a response from Guardz?
Right. So if you are an MSP on the Pro package, we are providing you 24/7 support, up to 1 hour response time.
Wow. Okay.
So we have teams that are providing also in Israel. So for the EMEA market, we have a support team that is Israel based, and then for the US market, we have, as I mentioned, Florida folks providing covering this time zone. If you are just starting with Guardz, we are providing you priority support via our chat. So it's a full, support, technical support for everything related to the platform, everything related to the issues, to the threats, to the remediation plans, to the platform itself. But it's not like a managed detection and response services, because we are going on the approach of automating the detection and response for the MSP to do the work, to do the fine tunes, to do the remediation plans, because we believe that if you are the MSP and you're already providing the services, the IT services for your clients, so your margin on top of your security services can be better with the Guardz platform by consolidating all of your point solutions and automating the detection response across those point solutions without the hassle of the configuration of the different tools, the dashboards, the different solutions that you need to onboard and to manage over time.
And so we want to be clear here, because this is a platform to enable MSPs to manage cybersecurity. This is not what might be known as a security operations center or a managed detection and response platform here. So this is for MSPs who are looking to continue doing the support for their clients directly. This is not for MSPs who are looking to outsource, for instance.
Correct.
Yes, absolutely. And there's a big divide in the market, isn't there, Dor? There's some people who want to partner with others, brilliant. There is some people who want to bring it keep it internal and do it themselves. The reason for this video is there are lots of options out there, and I think this is one of the really good ones if you want to continue doing it yourself. So be aware of that.
Exactly.
we talked about all the different things, all the different options within the platform. What platforms or operating systems does Guardz support or is looking to support in the future? So we talked about M365, Google Workspace. Is there, you mentioned Dropbox, OneDrive. Is there any other tools or integrations there that we should be aware of?
So we are integrating with the PSA tools of the world, like the ConnectWise, the Autotask Manage, and those kind of to streamline the issues and the threats into the PSA stuff. But obviously that's the main value proposition today around the Microsoft tenant, the Google Workspace tenant, the cloud storage, and obviously the Windows Defender and the Mac X Protect that is running on top of Mac Apple devices. So that's what we are doing today. And obviously the email, it's all related to those, the Microsoft or the Google, the external surface is the external surface, the dark web data is the dark web data. So that's about it.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah. And, if at some point in the future you're looking at integrating with any of the other tools in the market, there are loads, aren't there? So I think what most vendors that I'm seeing like yourself doing is they're saying to their MSP clients, what do you want integration with, rather than try to do everything all in one go. So that might be an idea. What types of MSPs are you seeing using Guardz at the moment? And not just MSPs, IT solution providers. Are they big? Are they small? What types of MSPs are there?
So our majority of MSPs are small MSPs, usually between the 1 to 5, 10 technicians. That's the majority of our clients, and that's the market that we are after. We want to empower the small MSPs to provide better cybersecurity at scale and to reduce the effort and the cost that they need to put into each of the clients that they onboard or each of the clients that they are servicing today.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And whereabouts are the MSPs that you're working with? We've already talked about the US. Obviously, I'm based in the UK. We've got a global audience here, Dor. Which types of MSPs in different parts of the world are you seeing at the moment?
So about 70% of the MSPs today that we are serving are coming from the US market. About 20% are coming from the UK and EMEA in general, mainly UK. And then about 10% coming from Australia today, but it's going to shift in 2024. Keep in mind that we started the company about 2 years plus, and we are in the market selling only about a year. So we started to sell in 2023. So this is like the second year of our go to market and support and services for the MSP community, and we are going to scale up. That's obviously part of our funding that we raised, Series A, is that we are going to scale up our go to market in 2024, and we are going to be like the vision is to be like about 50% US and then about 25% UK and EMEA and about 25% in Australia.
Makes sense. Well, I hope this video shines a light on Guardz for MSPs all around the world. I know from previous feedback, we've got people in South Africa and Australia, New Zealand, all over the world that get in touch with us. So I hope that shines a light on you. To the point now about the global audience, is there any data stored that you're collecting here? For instance, for those of us in Europe, is Guardz GDPR compliant?
Yeah, Guardz is GDPR SOC 2 compliant. So we invested a lot in our security orchestration and, building everything in, and security is our DNA. So
yes. That much is clear to see there, Dor. What in terms of what does it cost to become a partner? We talked about the free trial. Can you talk us a little bit without talking pounds and pence or dollars or shekels or anything else, but in broad terms, what does it cost to become a partner first of all, and secondly, what do the licensing look like on an ongoing basis? Do you license per tenant, per user? What does it look like?
Great. So just to finish the last comment, there is also a different data center for the different geolocations. So a data center for the US, a data center for the European customers, and a data center in Australia for the Australian customers right now. So
forgive me for interrupting there, Dor. That's a really important point. And does the end user get to choose which data center they use?
The MSPs get to choose once they sign up and starting their journey with Guardz. They can choose which data center they want to be. Obviously, we are automatically sending all the IP traffic from the US to the US data center, but you can choose how you want to play it out on your configurations. And coming back to the business model, very straightforward, simple business model. We have two packages. One, no commitment, pay as you go. The pricing is per user per month. And then we have the pro package. You need to commit for a minimum of 100 users, and you get a bit more of the functionality and less of the price. The price today is about $5 per user per month for the MSP. It's a transfer price, so you can, as the MSP, you can choose what is the margin that you want to take, what are the services that you are going to put on top of Guardz. You want to go with a daily phishing simulation or a monthly phishing simulation or a quarterly phishing simulation. You want to go with a quarterly awareness. You want to monitor, quarantine for your clients. You want to provide the data protection, actively. You can play with the services on top of the Guardz platform and get your price for the small business client as you see fit.
So really good to hear. I'm a big fan, Dora, of the good, better, best. Having 3 different packages for people. And so what you've said there absolutely makes sense from that perspective. The big thing, and I think you talked about this earlier, that I really want to get across to our audience here today, though, is this isn't a product that you would brand as Guardz and sell to an end user. This is a product that you use to integrate your solution to say, hey, we as an MSP are providing you, Mr. Customer, with a solution. So it's less about Guardz and more about the MSP here, isn't it?
Absolutely, 100%. It's nothing about Guardz. It's all about the MSP, the Go tab, the prospecting, the ROIs, all the security controls, the connecting the dots approach, the unified approach of connecting the dots. It's all about how we can better support MSPs and empower MSPs to better secure their clients. So, and also providing the coverage in the US. Just a disclaimer, also providing the insurance coverage in the US, because we are getting a lot of traction from our MSP community, MSP partners in the US that are so happy with the fact that they are part of providing their clients their peace of mind, their cybersecurity peace of mind, because a lot of the customers are asking about cyber insurance. A lot of the security controls that the carriers are asking are about the security controls that Guardz provide today. So it's actually a nice bundle for the small business client, and then also giving you the MSP the ability to pitch it and to sell it and to provide it to your clients.
Yeah. Bill, this has been, I was going to say on one hand, mind-blowing, because you thought of so much that is required by MSPs here. I really love the product. I think it looks great. I think you've ticked a lot of boxes for MSPs who are going to be watching this. So thank you so much for your time today. Is there anything that we've not talked about in the product that you think, hey, we should be shining a light on?
I think that we covered pretty much a lot of the product, but obviously there are, we can talk about, a few hours about, the bits and bytes and, the details of the product. That's not the intention, I think, for this conversation. But yeah. I want to finish with, I am super available for our MSP community, and I want to talk with our MSP community. So please feel free to reach out. I am at dor@guardz.com, dor@guardz.com, and reach out on LinkedIn, on directly with email, and would love to, to help you get onboarded with Guardz and everything that you need. Obviously, we have our support, our success, our sales team lined up for you, but feel free to reach out, and I would love to share success stories with other MSPs and how we are helping, the community in general.
Wonderful, Dor. And I should say, I also run my podcast, Tubblog, the podcast for IT consultants. You gave us a little bit of a glimpse into your background into cybersecurity. I'm pretty sure there's lots of people watching and are like, tell us more about that. So you've got an open invitation to come on my podcast whenever you want as well, Dor, so we can go a little bit more in depth. But for today, thank you so much for giving time. I guess just before we go, I want to let everybody watching know that if there's anything in here like Dor's email address, LinkedIn, we're going to include everything in the show notes as well. So don't worry about rewinding and trying to scribble things down. We'll give you all the details there. Dor, it's been a pleasure getting to meet you. I hope to see you out on the road at some point in the near future.
Thank you very much, Richard. Have a good day.